Well, hello, and welcome to 60 and Sassy. We're Karen and Honey, two women in our 60s who are not done living, dreaming, or laughing. Each week, we dive into the beautiful mess of midlife and beyond with no rules, no filters, just real talk. Thanks for listening in. Enjoy.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be a good one. Ugh.
It is. Oh, goodness. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, boy. Are you in for a treat today? So, in full disclosure, when we recorded our last episode about reinvention, we made it almost to the end, and then something very 60 happened.
Yep, we laughed so hard that we almost peed our pants. So we decided to share it with you after all. This, friends, is what 60 looks like.
It's the plot twist. And
Mhm.
those are always the best parts, right?
Yeah.
um, and by the way, Honey, thank you so much for. I totally forgot what I was just going to say.
Listeners, we're going to leave this in. This is what
No.
you get over 60. You have something profound to say, and 2 seconds later, you're like, oh, that was a.
No, Honey. Oh my gosh.
Seriously, I'm not doing this again.
Okay. Oh no. Oh, Honey. What do we do?
So stop recording and cut it off, and you're gonna work the whole afternoon on gluing the last part together.
No.
Oh gosh,
It's the
seriously,
best.
it's still funny.
I
See,
know.
listeners, now you're laughing too. Hey, we should consider these mistakes actually the best part of our conversations, Karen. And thanks for professionally gluing those parts back together. I mean, if I was more eloquent, we could have called it editing, but oh well.
Yes, yes, that would have been the word, I think. And yeah, because I'm sure the Elmer's glue that we have from our girls' elementary school days is probably fossilized by now. So yes, I'm glad I was able to figure that out. So anyway, thank you for laughing along with us, listeners. Laughter really is medicine, and it sneaks in at the best times, it seems. And you know what? Let's be honest. Sometimes it sneaks out in other ways too.
Oh my gosh, don't remind me. Which is actually a perfect lead into today's topic. We want to talk about friendship because friendship and deep connections often live in those unscripted, messy, joy filled moments. It's a big topic, everyone, but we're going to do it in two parts.
Right. Yes, we kind of set out a little kind of a brief outline, and we thought, yeah, we want to make sure that we are respectful of your time. So we are going to break it into two parts. The first part is going to be three different kinds of friendships that we're going to discuss, and then the second part next week will be another three. But in both parts, we're going to be exploring how friendships shift and change across the chapters of our lives. So, between us, we have experienced a lot of different kinds of friendships, Honey. And
Hmm.
some stay forever, some drift away, some kind of pop in and out, sort of like those unexpected pesky chin hairs.
Oh gosh, they always show up at the worst time. I have a few stories about that. So let's look back then at how friendship has shaped us and how we're choosing to nurture them now.
Yes. So to start us off, we found a quote that really struck us that we wanted to share with you. So this is that quote. I've made some of my favorite memories with people that I will never speak to again, and that's the strange part about life. Some chapters hold laughter, love, and late night talks, but still end without closure. You don't always get a goodbye. Sometimes people just fade into the background, leaving behind echoes of moments that once meant everything. It hurts, not because the memories weren't real, but because the connection wasn't meant to last. We shared secrets, made promises, and yet I wouldn't erase them because in those moments, even if temporary, we were exactly who we needed to be for each other. I've learned that not everyone is meant to stay in your story forever. Some people are lessons, some are blessings, and some are both.
Oh my gosh. So good. So good. Isn't that the truth? I mean, friendships are like chapters in a book. Some we breeze through, others we dog ear and revisit, and some leave us with epilogues. It just rings really true, that quote. But I immediately want to insert too that our personality types shape how we see friendships. For context, listeners, both Karen and I are Myers Briggs aficionados, with Karen being an INFJ and I am ISFJ.
Yes, yes, we are close. Those are close in our profile letters. But I feel like we're really different in so many ways. Are you sure that you didn't cheat when you took your test?
Okay, okay. See, I always get found out by you. Well, what happened is I was my whole life a T, but since I'm now old and weary, I took it again, and then all of a sudden I was an F.
Really?
And I was like, I'm liking this description better, so I'm sticking with it.
There is
Uh,
no way that you're more feeling than thinking. I know you. Anyway, INFJs are all about the meaning, the emotion, the story arc of a friendship. I tend to see how just it's more important the impact of people and how people carry me through a rite of passage, maybe, or just a whisper that my soul needed at the time. So I'm the one asking, what does this say about the human condition? And you're the one saying, you brought snacks, right?
ouch. You're right. I'm the practical, no nonsense one. Okay. I know a lot of people around the world, but I think you're right. I tend to stick more to the few chosen ones in my inner circle. But then again, in my defense, my inner circle actually remains in transition too, with several people coming and going in recent years. So,
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so fascinating. We see each other's friendships through our own lens. I think, and our lenses are shaped by our own temperaments, our stories, and what's important to us. So I don't
mhm,
think friendship is just one thing; it's a whole spectrum of connection.
yeah, 100%. The way we were raised, I mean, even between you and me, our cultural influences and how we have evolved over the years. I mean, it all affects the lens we see friendships through.
Yep, 100%. So that brings us to our first kind of friend, chapter one. We're calling it rooted friends. So I grew up in a community of about 18,000 people in the mountains of northern New Mexico. And it was a place where people never moved away. So the kids that I started preschool with were the same ones that I graduated high school with. And to this day, I have an amazing core group of them who know my whole story. And actually, during COVID, I love this. We Zoomed together almost monthly. So that's pretty amazing all these years after high school, and we're still connected. So that was really fun. But they know my history, they know my most embarrassing stories. And yeah, so actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they are the real reason I can't run for political office.
Hey, don't forget me. I got some stuff on you too.
Yes, you do.
You know what? Actually, that reminds me. I was just in Holland a few months ago, and I met up with an old school friend, and I hadn't seen him since I was 13. And I used to be, a fun, very outgoing kid back then. At least that's how he remembered me. And I told him, I said, I've really changed quite a bit as an adult. And it was just for him almost like a little bit of dissonance.
Hmm.
He was like, you were always You're surrounded by people, sort of the social butterfly. And I was like, yeah, not so much anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you're still
Mhm.
kind of outgoing from what I know of you, but maybe that's
Yeah.
just when you're alone.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That's when I'm funny. Yeah.
Oh my. Well, I don't know. I think even if years go by without ever talking, it's those rooted friends that carry our origin story. And they're the ones that share that history with us. And I think that that experience of being known is something that we all treasure and that we all really need in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like your New Mexico story, but in truth, I can't remember a whole lot from my teenage years. I mean, or rather, I don't give it a whole lot of thought. Hey, Karen, 50 years ago.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Oh my
Wow. Yeah,
gosh.
I know. Crazy.
Oh well, on to chapter two. We are calling them our stretch friends. These are the people who expand your worldview and challenge you to think differently in a variety of ways. I'm sure you got a bunch of those, don't you?
I do love stretch friends. They are one of my favorite kinds.
Hmm.
I love it because they view the world differently, and I feel like they see our potential and encourage us to reach beyond our comfort zone, and just cheer us on along the way. An
Hmm.
example, I think for me, it came through these citizens academies that I've done in the past. I've done one for the police, the fire department, and the sheriff's department, and I still have my eye on the FBI one because
Mm.
that would be the ultimate stretch. I would love that, but it's really hard to get into. But anyway, I treasure those friends so much. So I feel like we just pushed each other in ways that we never thought possible. We rappelled off tall buildings. We went into a burning building. We even used the jaws of life on cars. We rode along in a simulated police chase. We even spent some time in the county jail. I couldn't have done any of that without them by my side. I think they're the ones that gave me the courage that I didn't even know I had. So yeah, bunker gear probably isn't the most flattering, but wow, does it build character. And remember, being an INFJ, I learn best by experiencing. So I just loved every minute about those adventures, and I love those stretch friends.
Oh gosh, seriously, you are just such an amazing person, my friend. I didn't know all this craziness about you. I mean, I can't, I can't even imagine all the rich experiences that must have brought.
Yeah.
You appear so normal and so innocent.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, honey. But really, those friendships remind me that courage is contagious. You know, you borrow a little bit from each other, and then suddenly the impossible feels possible. I love that.
Yeah, well, you're surely braver than me. I mean, when I think about stretch friends, I only think about people who stretch my thinking, in all truth.
Hmm.
I mean, be it politically, philosophically, or culturally. I mean, other than that, I don't think anybody can stretch me into jumping out of a plane or, in your case, into a building that is burning. I mean, hey, listen, maybe they can stretch me into new French cheese, but that's as daring as I'll ever get.
Hey, don't lessen your bravery. Brie cheese can be scary too.
Karen, I'm rolling my eyes. Uh, well, let's move on to chapter three. So, proximity pals. So these are the everyday friends like your gym buddy. I'm chuckling because I don't relate. The barista who remembers your order, the neighbor who waves every morning. And I'm sure you have a bunch of people like that in your life, but I actually don't because I mean, I work from home, cannot be bothered going to a gym and drink my one drip coffee maker cup every morning, and I don't want to wave or talk to anybody before 10. So I'll have you elaborate because I'm sure you have a bunch of those.
Oh, honey, yes. I think for me, proximity friends are often fellow flight attendants sitting next to me in the jump seat. So we rarely fly with the same crew twice. So it seems like by 30,000 feet, I've usually heard their entire life story:
Mm.
divorce, tattoos, addiction, financial woes, menopause symptoms. And I think we open up to each other on that jump seat because we know we'll probably never fly together again, never see each other again. So it feels safe. But every now and then there's a connection and there's something shared that makes that 3 day trip so amazing. And we laugh together and we create inside jokes and we end up down at the hotel bar or restaurant together for hours. And then suddenly we've each made a friend. It's crazy. I'm sure you have some proximity friends too, Honey. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you explain it like that, I do agree because I have had those airplane buddies. I always find it intriguing that you fly. In your case, of course, you work, but I would fly, and with some people you completely connect. You can talk for
Mhm.
hours, and most people you just sit next to and nothing happens. And it's just interesting, these conversations. You're absolutely right. They are very safe and very interesting. And when I traveled a lot, of course, I met a lot of people around mostly Europe. And I was involved in their lives, their story, the interesting opinions they would bring, and also the fun that I had, like what you're saying with going to a restaurant or hanging in a bar all night, after a conference, or in your case, after flying.
Mhm.
I mean, I have done that in so many cities, and so much fun, and we were always intentional. Not sure if you relate to this one, but it's like we would do something culturally on purpose.
Mm.
So with this one colleague that I had from Brussels, we would go to La Traviata in Prague, and a Strauss compilation in Vienna, and then with a former assistant, she invited me to her home in Sevilla, Spain. And so we just went to this flamenco show, and then afterwards to these Roman baths. And
Oh,
oh
wow.
my gosh, seriously, we'd walk the old city at night. It's what dreams are made of.
Yeah.
And if you get to travel and spend with local people, it makes it just extra special. And then those coworkers and people in your life, they just become your proximity pals at that point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but it's also my experience when that season then closes, that these work friendships tend to scatter to the wind.
Yes,
But
that is true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think we'll get more into that next week in part 2, the scattering into the wind friends.
Hmm.
But that's where we're gonna explore happenstance friends, season of life friends, and the ones that we call keepers. So we're also going to bust some myths about friendship that we have learned over the years. So that should be fun.
And that really brings us full circle to that opening quote that we both so relate to. Friendships don't all last forever. I mean, we know that,
Hmm.
but they all carry meaning.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
It's
so
really
true.
true.
Yeah. Okay, so until next week, here's something that we wanted to leave you all with to reflect on. Which friends are you most grateful for today? And we hope a whole list of names comes to your mind. And here's our challenge: reach out to one or two of them and just let them know how much you love and appreciate them. And think of us as your stretch friends here. We're cheering you on along the way.
Woohoo! Yes. Hey, and if you text somebody, I want you to know this, listeners, after 9 p.m., then tell them it was Karen's idea, because I would never do such a thing.
Okay, listeners. Until next time, may your friendships keep writing new chapters. Bye for now. Well, thanks for spending time with us here on 60 and Sassy. If you laughed, nodded along, or maybe just felt a little less alone, that's the magic that we're here for. Please make sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. If you're loving what you hear, we'd be so grateful if you'd leave a quick review or share the podcast with a friend or a family member. Do you have any thoughts, feedback, or topic you'd love us to dive into? Please drop us a line at lifemoments@mail.com. We'd truly love to hear from you. We'll be back soon with more laughs and real talk. Until then, stay true and authentic, be kind, and never lose your sass.